How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to New Game Plus. I'm Bryce Newberger, and today we're going to talk about some fun I had with my kids last night. Basically, what was it called? Blackout, and Trench Crusade had a baby, and it turned out to be Halo. That's what we did. So, essentially, I have this game called the Halo interactive strategy battle game. I got it from Goodwill. It's an old game that has some really cool miniatures that come with it. And essentially, what I did was my son and I began to play a battle report. And what we did was I took the rules for Trench Crusade and I took the rules for Blackout. And then I took the Halo rules and I smooshed them all together. And then we played a few iterations of the game, and I believe what we currently have now should be the final iteration. And then what I did for you guys was I threw that up on a website. So this is hosted on a Google site, which means the URL is pretty wonky. It's sites.google.com/view/HaloBLKCrusade, and it's black spelled like blackout, BLK. So Black Crusade. However, if you want to go to Dwethia, so if you go to my website, dwethia.com, www.dwethia.com, and then you go to the bottom, you can click on check out Halo Black Crusade. On this channel, I'll be creating a few games, homebrewing them, and I've got a really fun Pokemon one I want to show you guys too. It's so much fun. You're in for a treat when we do that one. However, if you check out Black Crusade, it'll take you to this website, and that gets past the wonky. But that way I don't have to buy. This is a free game. I'm not making money. This is just a fun website of homebrew rules for the Halo interactive strategy battle game. So if you want to play along, go ahead. You can get in there. So today I'm going to teach you how to play, and we're going to go over a bat rep, and we're going to keep this tight and neat. My last video was almost an hour because I'm long-winded. Please forgive me. So what you're going to need to play is, I first want to preface, you do not need this game, though if you can track it down, you totally should. I bought 2 copies of it, and the rules out of the box don't really work. The game needs a lot of help, but it gives you the amazing components that you can then use these rules or your own homebrew rules to make an amazing game with. And so what you do need is the unit cards. I pulled these off of an eBay listing, and then I also listed the unit cards up under unit cards. So if you need to write them down, you can print these out or just write them down. All you need to know is the stats, right? You could throw them on an Excel sheet if you wanted and have one big sheet of them all. I've also added to the game the Flood, which this does not come with Flood models, but I found some on Cults3D.com. I want to link them to the website, but Cults is down right now. But eventually my hope is to link just easy to click buttons for you guys. So if you want to find the models, they can go to a great creator. You can pay them and download the models to 3D print yourself or have a friend 3D print them. And then eventually I'd like to add jackals, hunters, and I would also want to add my kids. I played with 3 of them. My 7-year-old was the Flood. My 13-year-old was the Covenant. My 11-year-old was the UNSC, and I kind of refereed. And they were like, "You should play with us, Dad." And I was thinking, I should add the Guilty Spark and the Sentinels. So maybe we'll add those rules later. But anyways, what you need to play, unit cards, they're right here. They're on the website. The Halo weapon cards as well. If you don't have these really cool Halo weapon cards, we have a bunch of special rules that we added for them anyways, which makes the game a little bit more dynamic. And I've got a hot sheet here, but you can just use this website, and instead of drawing the tokens, I've created a D100 list that checks out to be roughly the same draw chance for these, though you could get duplicates that way, but it's fine, right? Weapons are a fun, dynamic way, so more weapons is not a bad thing. And then what you need is the terrain. Now, terrain in this game uses this kind of really cool. It came with cool models and everything, and it came with this really cool modular terrain, which is why I went down and tracked down a second set because I wanted more terrain. The box I found at Goodwill didn't have all the terrain, so I actually was able to buy it off of a Goodwill website. I didn't know they had a website, but there it is. And essentially, you don't need their terrain, though. we play with spaces, but if you use any old Warhammer or Wargaming terrain or BLKOUT terrain, you can just convert spaces to inches, right? So when something says 3 spaces, it can shoot 3 inches. It's going to end up, the spaces are a little wider than an inch, but you and your opponent will both be equally affected, so it'll be balanced. And then dice, you just need just D10. About 6 should do, because we're using some BLKOUT mechanics here. They came with these really cool 50-50 dice that, in fact, actually, I'm 2 places. Okay. They came with some really cool, dice in the game that are like, half of them are UNSC shields and then half of them are Covenant swords. And I like those. I use that for priority. So I just toss one, whoever symbol comes up, that's the player who goes first. But if you guys don't have that, just roll off with D10s. It's all fine. And lastly is the models. You can, use Pogs if you want to, don't have a 3D printer and you just want to print out some pictures and cut them out or whatever. Or, 3D print your own. Or Halo Flashpoint should have some of the Spartan models. But you can find Covenant models out on the internet as well. Again, I hope someday to have a good... Colts is down right now, but soon, when they come back up, I should be able to link you guys to some good STL files. And so that's all you need to play. Let's get into the core rules. Very, very simple. My design priority was to keep everything on this. That's it. 7 things all right here. It's very short. And so before we begin, terrain and deployment, put out your terrain, identify a deployment zone, which we pick as an edge of the table. I use the Trench Crusade mechanic of models don't start on the field, they start off the field. And then when you pick a unit card to activate, the first thing you do is you move it, and let me see, you move it, right there. You move it off, like you place them on the table, and then when you're ready to deploy, you place all units, you then move them as their first move onto the table, right? And that's how they move, that's how you deploy. And so I like that because then you can't shoot people off the map before they have a chance to go. And so, you identify the deployment zones, the edges, where can you deploy, and then the terrain, you guys agree on everything. And then have fun. I let my kids build the maps, and I'm like, tell a story. And then I tell them to make it roughly symmetrical, and then we just pick sides and go. And then also priority, you roll for it. And then one thing I didn't write in here, I need to edit this, is pick an objective. Very simple. The game came with some flags and some bombs, and we're just like, I'm not going to be like Trench Crusade and write you a whole manual of scenarios or BLKOUT. Right? This is fun. This is free. Just have fun with it. But we put flags in the middle. We're like, get the flag. In the scenario we played, we made it where you had to get the... Oh, there we go. You had to get the... I was wondering if I would show it. There's flags in the center, and you have to bring your flag back to your base to arm the bomb. And then you have to bring the bomb. And we have the bomb tokens set up incorrectly here. They're both on my son's side because he was playing with them. We'll fix that. But then you got to bring the flag to the bomb, arm the bomb, and then bring the flag back to the middle of the field. And that's, or bring the bomb back to the middle field, and then you detonate the bomb. And then your side wins if you get it. Now, my son had to go to bed for school, so we only had about an hour to play. Maybe less than that. We had about 45 minutes to play. The whole battle rep is only 14 minutes long. So we played with some looser rules where essentially you could just grab the flag and go. Typically, it would take an action to grab the flag, and that's your action. On your next turn, you could move, and your move is -1. But in this, because bedtime and everything, we just moved there, moved back, and it was good to go. So next, that is priority. You roll off for it. Whoever gets priority starts first. They pick a unit card. They activate all the units on their unit card, and they start by placing them on the side of the map. And again, if you look at the unit cards, it tells you how many models each unit card represents. Some are worth, there's 3 Spartans, 3 Marines, but there's only 2 elites, 2 brutes, and then there's 3 grunts, right? So, activate all the units on the card. I have 2 copies of the game too, so we can do 6 grunts and 4 elites, all that kind of fun stuff. And then begin. To move, you move with your move value, 3 spaces or 3 inches if you don't have a space-based board. You move the models onto the map. They may not leave any models off the map. So you can't go, oh, I've got 3 grunts, I'm going to move 2 on the map this turn and leave 1 off. Nope. When you activate the card, you have to move them all on. And the first space they touch is their first space. So when you put them up to the center or to the edge of the map, that's not a space. And then when you move them, it is 1 to get on, and then 2, 3, to move them fully. These are my Spartans. I think they have 5 move to begin. Yeah, they've got 5 move. But yeah, and so then you activate the models, and kind of like Trench Crusade, and also kind of like Blackout, you get your move, and then you get an action, right? So in Blackout, you get to reposition, and then you get to do something. In Trench Crusade, you kind of move, and then part of your movement, you can charge and all sorts of stuff. And so you move, right? You move your model. That's it. You move them and they move. That's it. If a model's adjacent to enemies, they don't move in the move phase. So after the prior round, if you're base to base with a unit, you can't move in the move phase, but you can attempt to retreat or dash, right, to get away from them later. So activations, very simple. You can do, you pick an activation and you do it. The activations are limited and they're simple. You can do a dash, which is to double your move. And again, I took a little bit of Trench Crusade and a little bit of Black Reach, where you can attempt to dash and fail. You roll 2d10, and one of the d10 has to be under the move value. As long as one of them is under it, you're good to go, right? So a grunt has a move of 3. If he wants to dash, I roll 2d10, and I'm looking for you have to roll it or under. So I'm looking for a 1, a 2, or a 3, right? And if one of the dice comes up that way, then I can dash my unit. Spartans are a little faster. They dash a little easier. And then if you retreat, similar to Trench Crusade, a unit gets a free melee attack on you if you try to retreat from them. But the way that we did this is, and let me clarify, if you attempt to dash and you fail your dash, right? So I roll with my grunt, I get a 5 and a 6, I didn't dash, then I get bonked on the head for failing. But if I succeed, no bonk, I get to move successfully 3 spaces away. Okay, melee attack. Very simple. When a model attempts a melee attack, they're going to roll 3d10 and attempt to get under their strike plus their melee number. So if we look here, we've got a melee number, which is 2, and we've got a strike number, which is 2, and we add those together to get 4, and then we roll 3d10, and for every d10 that is 4 or less, that's a success, dealing 1 wound. Every model only has 1 wound, except for Brutes, which have 2 wounds, and Chief and Arbiter, which have 2 wounds because they're heroic. And if you go behind in Halo, everyone knows if you melee someone in the back, it's not going to be a fun time. If a model's able to reach the backside of a model, they don't add their energy to their shield save. So I'll explain that in a second. So you roll to attack, and then your target gets to try a save. Now they have a shield value, which is 4, and then they have an energy value, which is, for the grunt here, it's 3. Spartans might have 5 or 6 or something. And so what you're going to do is you add the 4 from the shield and however much energy you have, 3 here. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a 7. And then you roll 1d10 and you can prevent 1 damage. Now, if the melee attack dealt 2 damage, you're just going to die. That's, unfortunately, we took from Blackout, high kill. Melee is very lethal in this game. So if you succeed on your shield save, you actually add a damage token, even if you succeed, to your model. And that's because it used up some of your shield. And for every damage token you have, you remove 1 pip of the energy shield as your shields get used up. So even if you succeed, if someone attacks you again, you're easier to hit because your shield is lowering as you go, right? And then if you fail, you die, or you take a wound. If you have multiple wounds, is Brute, Chief, or Arbiter, then you put a wound token on them. But they only have 2 wounds total, so if something has a wound token, and then it takes another hit, it's just dead. Nothing has 3 wounds in this game. And then, range attack, very simple as well. You take the strike of the weapon you're using, and you take the strike of your model. That's how good they are with weapons. You add them together. For this grunt, it's 2 plus 2 equals 4, and he rolls 1d10 if the model's in cover. This is from Blackout. You roll 1d10 if your target's in cover, or you roll 3d10 if your target is not in cover. And again, every success is a wound. Critical hits, D10 on a 1. Same with melee, too. I forgot to cover that. Ones, natural ones. In Blackout, you want to roll high. In this, you want to roll low. And I was limited because the cards were printed, and that's how the math makes sense. So ones are really good in this version. Zeros or tens are really good in Blackout. But in this, ones are great. And some weapons crit on a 1 or a 2, like pistols or sniper rifles, battle rifles from a certain distance, all sorts of stuff. Okay. And then if you can pick up weapons throughout the game. So this grunt picked up a fuel rod gun. Its strike is 5 plus 2, so is 7. And so if he rolls an attack, he needs to roll 3 dice, and he's looking for under 7 is what he's trying to get there. Yeah, and if you do it, then you win, and your opponent gets the saves, right? And the saves work exactly the same. You try to roll your save. If you were dealt 2 wounds, you're probably just going to die. But either way, that's how it works. You only ever get 1 save dice. Blackout has units with 2 save dice. I didn't have a way to interpret that as much here without writing on cards and getting really weird with how we interpret things. So everything, 1 save dice is all you ever get. And then there's some fun extra rules. If a model ever has basically 0 energy, like if you have enough damage equal to your energy, then you can make a Killtacular move, which allows you to make a ranged attack, a dash attack, and a melee attack. My favorite thing to do in Halo is drain my assault rifle into my target and then melee them as I run past. So that's, just it represents you kind of draining your clip or your mag. Warhammer says clip, forgive me. But you drain your mag, you melee your unit, your target, and then you can keep going. And then a Kilimanjaro is if there's another valid Killtacular target in range, you can just keep doing it, right? So it's a lot of fun. Pick up an objective. We talked about that. You can pick up a flag or a bomb. And then I'll edit this. I'm supposed to say you move at -1 speed if you do that. By the time this video comes out, I'll have made those edits. If you get to a spot in the map that has a weapon token, these weapon tokens here, you can pick up a weapon and put it in front of your guy or next to your guy, and that tells you what the weapon does. Now, the base weapons are kind of lame. We added a whole bunch of fun rules, and this is the cool way they're laid out, says everything, but at the top, I made a really quick reference sheet. No style, no substance. Well, no style, all substance, right? Just what you need to know for the weapons. Otherwise, you have all the guns here laid out in a really fun, fashionable way. There's also Halo chits, which you can get. Some spots say weapons, some spots say Halo. The Covenant pick up Covenant weapons. The UNSC pick up UNSC weapons. And what we typically do is all the weapons on the Covenant side generate Covenant weapons. All the weapons on the UNSC side generate UNSC weapons, because some characters like Spartans and Elites can use other people's equipment. But the Halo cards are upgrades. Grenade is actually kind of a one-use weapon. They're all one-use. But you can get a Grav Lift, which gives your character the jump ability for 1 activation. Jump is kind of like Blackout, but for this, it's jump infinity. So if you have a Grav Lift, you can just jump on top of anything. Spartans and Elites and Brutes have the jump keyword built in, but this can also give it to Grunts and regular Marines as well. And that's because they got moon hops. Radar Jammer makes it where if you get this thing, you can actually, and there's no enemy that can see you within line of sight, you can actually remove that model from the game, put a little marker where he was, and then next time he would activate, you can activate him. Basically, you can redeploy him within 8 spaces of where he was. It represents like, we didn't know where he was. The radar was jammed. Oh, he's there. Oh, crap. Cloaking is invisibility. 1 use only. Cannot be targeted outside of range 3, so because you're invisible. And within range 3, you have to use your lower weapon damage profile. Usually weapons that are closer deal more damage because you're closer. And I'll explain that in a second. Bubble Shield, Invincibility, this is all good stuff. Now, Flood, these cards built in the game kill you. I actually have a whole section of flood rules of how they generate the flood. The player who draws the flood card can actually spawn the flood and use them immediately to attack his opponent. But after that, they're AI driven. They just attack the nearest thing and they generate random models. So it's a lot of fun. And the only other thing I didn't cover from my core rules is that when you... for weapons, and this is explained under the war gear, because the weapons built in the game they had no range and they had no girth, they had no weight to their damage, so they were weak and they were limited. Like guns would only shoot like 3 spaces, and that was just sad. So now weapons have 2 profiles, which is essentially you double the range, and that's how So whatever the range is, you double it. That's how far you can shoot. But if you're within the printed range value, you get a better strike profile. So for example, let's look at the battle rifle. Let's look at the humble assault rifle. The assault rifle has a range of 3, which means printed. So for our game, it goes, okay, we can go up to 6. But if you're within 3, instead of giving you strike 3 on your attack, it gives you strike 6 on your attack because you're so close to the opponent that it's going to be hard to miss, right? Nothing special about these, and then the restriction says who can use them. Master Chief, Spartan 2s, and Marines can use assault rifles. Covenant cannot use them. Now, that's pretty much the same for every weapon, and then some weapons we added a little spicy. So, for example, the battle rifle says at range 5+, so when you're over the 5 range, it crits on a 1 to 2. This represents you looking down the scope of the battle rifle, right? And so you can get a headshot a little easier. And then some weapons, like the sniper rifle, its closer strike profile is weaker. So, and that's on purpose. So pay attention to these weapon profiles. They're mostly the same, but there's some nuance. And so the sniper rifle can, when it's closer, it's less effective. And then outside of range 8, it deals 2 times damage. Really, that's just a way of saying it will one-shot. Right, it will one-shot Master Chief, the Arbiter, or a Brute. And so there's some fun stuff. You can play with it, have fun with it. The only other thing we're talking about is melee weapons. You can substitute the strike here for your unit card strike when it comes to melee. So basically, you do 6 plus your. Let's look at this. Let's say the Arbiter has a energy sword. Instead of melee 5 plus strike 3 is what he would roll. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Instead, it would be the energy sword, which is 6 plus 3. So, right, you just substitute that melee, you still use that strike. Then they have some cool abilities, like the sword. When you're within range 4 with it, it will actually, you can move adjacent to a target. So it's cool because if you don't get close enough to a target with your basic move or dash, you can then still have some range, because we all know in Halo, you use the energy sword and you fly towards your opponent. So there's a lot of fun stuff. Let's just, if you have time, that's it for today. That's how we did it. Now, if you have time, we'll go over the battle report between me and my son, if you want to see some of this played out. Now, we were still finalizing some of the rules, and based on how this game went, determined some of these final little edits that I made. So first things first, I activated my Spartans and I moved them down the field. Remember, the goal is to get the flag, bring the flag back to your bomb, to activate your bomb, and bring your bomb to the middle. I won priority. I deployed my Spartans and I moved them on weapons. I want to gear up all my Spartans and get ready for war. My son activated his brutes and he's moving his brutes in. And we have a rule. I wrote this in the weapons as well. If you draw a weapon that you already possess, he already had a plasma rifle, so we let him redraw. Now he got a plasma pistol, which is kind of worse. It does have an interesting energy buildup feature we added to it, but he doesn't get to redraw because he doesn't already own it. And then his other brute, he draws, and lo and behold, it's another plasma rifle. So he's going to redraw, and this time he got a Covenant carbine, which is basically a Covenant version of the battle rifle. At longer ranges, 1 to 2 crits. So, that was his turn. He activates. I've got a Spartan near the flag. It's my turn now. And now I'm activating the Chief. And so I move him for deployment, and then I activate him. and he moves 6, so I move up 6. And then I'm going to attempt to dash, so I need to roll 2d10, and I need to roll under a 6. I got under a 6, so I get to move another 6, and I'm going to move the flag. Now, typically, I wouldn't be able to grab the flag because it takes an action to activate the flag, but because of bedtime, quickly arising, and school in the morning, right, it's a little quicker. He responds to my chief with his Arbiter, so he brings the Arbiter in, and he's like, 2 can play at that game. We can kind of listen to some of the stuff he's saying.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. And then do you want to dash or anything?
I will dash, and then can I pick it up too?
Yeah. So first you got to dash. So you roll 2 dice, and you got to get under your move.
So 6.
So yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. 4, and then you can just move back. Reminder that we did allow. Okay. Right. Cool. Typically, you wouldn't be able to do that. All right. But yeah, we made an exception. My turn. I'm going to have this Marine come in here. I'm going to have this Marine come in here. And I'm going to have this Marine come in here as well. And they're all going to get weapons. So let's go.
How are they all getting weapons?
Well, if you're within adjacent to the space, you can get a weapon.
Oh.
Yeah, because otherwise it really slows down.
That makes a lot more sense.
Assault rifle. Perfect. Sniper rifle. That's what we wanted. All right. And then my goal was to snipe his Arbiter. Sniper rifle. Sniper bros. Ah. All right. So you grab their elites. All right. And what are they going to do? They're going to grab weapons. So he's going to activate his elites in response. And they're going to gear up. Okay. Any movement from them?
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
A lot of movement there.
And then you're going to grab weapons, I imagine?
Yep.
And see what you get. Because you only have to be adjacent to a space. He could move up 2 and grab a weapon. Okay, there's special rules for that. I'll tell you what that is.
And
a brute shot. Okay, very nice. After that, we flip these back over. This is just a shot I'm going to throw in to say that we reactivate our guys. B-roll footage. Then showing. There you go. So after we were done with the round, we flip over our cards, and then we roll for priority again. Again, if you don't have these dice, you just roll d10. However, you're in cover, so I'm only going to roll 1 d10 instead of 3. However, because I'm a sniper rifle, I have a chance, if I do get through, to instant kill you. So let's see what happens. Okay, I got a 10, which is a fail. So that's a fail.
10 is...
Yeah, so now that was 1 sniper rifle. We're going to roll with the other sniper rifle. Okay? A 3. So I did get you. And now you're going to roll 2 dice. Wait, you're going to roll... One sec. You're going to roll 1 dice, and if you get 5 or below, you live.
I prefer the 2 dice.
Ah, you live. Okay. All right. Okay. Forgot to move this guy. We're going to move him. And then, so one thing to keep in mind, I hadn't added the energy shield rule yet. So he actually would have needed to roll under like a 9. So he still would have succeeded. It would have just made his shield even better. But we added that energy shield rule. And what would have happened there with these new rules is that we would have actually added a damage token next to his guy and lowered his energy by 1. Okay, now he's retreating with the Arbiter. He's moving again. And typically he would move 5 spaces instead of 6, -1 for holding the flag. And when you're holding the flag or a bomb, you can't shoot, though you can drop it in melee. Okay. And now he is activating his bomb, or actually, no, he went back and now he did a dash. And now he's moving. Now he's moving the flag. He should be moving the bomb. We'll catch that in a second. But what he did is he brought the flag back. he activated the bomb, and now he's bringing the bomb back to the center of the map. I'll tell him that here in a second. Then he goes and he got it. Okay, so now it's my turn. I've got my Spartans left, and I really want to try and kill that Arbiter. So I'm gonna move around his cover so he doesn't get cover from my Spartan, and I'm gonna try and kill him. So I've got a position. I got to move all my Spartans first, though, and I'm trying to find, because they have a built-in jump. We're trying to find a way where I could get them up top to shoot, and that guy can't reach, but this guy will have line of sight if he moves up onto the ledge so he can see across, though the Arbiter will have cover there. So that guy can't do it. He's going to try and dash just to better reposition himself, and I failed. An 8 and a 9 was over my move value, so I don't get to dash with him. That's a little Trench Crusade rule popping up there. And then I'm going to, here, let's listen in real quick. Oh, I think my battle report.
Let's have a move of 5.
There we go.
So, no, I failed my dash. All right. This guy is going to shoot the Arbiter with. So him to here. Here we go. And then that is actually a miss hit. So go ahead and roll your 1 dice.
Can I roll 2 dice?
No, just 1. All right. Okay, you failed. So that's 1 damage that he takes. So we're going to put 1 damage. And let's just put that on the Arbiter.
I can man it.
Sad.
I don't like this guy. He's just the bane of my existence.
Well, and you have a Covenant Carbine in.
And he's in perfect critical range.
Yeah, and you're.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Covenant Carbine.
Okay.
Because it does.
So you activate the brutes. So go ahead.
So,
okay. So go ahead and move him 3.
1, 2.
And I'm just realizing now, I think we forgot to activate that other Spartan.
Okay, and then you're gonna move him, or you're gonna keep
Whoops.
him still. He has.
That's
plenty
on
of
me.
range.
Seems good.
Oh, and he's better outside of 5. Remember.
Yeah. So this guy,
Okay.
I'm gonna keep him.
So why don't you
know
roll
what?
3 dice?
Actually, he was out of range. That's why. He only had a range of 6 up there, so his weapon couldn't reach.
Why don't we shoot with him into him? 1s and 2s outside of 5 are criticals.
Yes.
So go ahead.
3 dice, right?
Because
Yep.
he can zoom in.
Okay. So 2-2-0. So hit, miss. And then I only have 1 shield, and I have a shield of 5, so I need to get underneath that. So I'll roll a
Is this
red.
critical?
Oh, those are crits. Those are both crits. So that
Because-
is 1 damage I was able to block, but I'm going to take.
So with that, what happens is essentially 1 zoom in, right? So with the carbine, it represents you can look down the scope. So 1s and 2s count as crits. So that's a total of 4 damage. Now, I think back in this version of the game, we were playing where energy represented your health, but we noticed the game still wasn't killy enough, and that's why we updated the rule to be it adds to your save instead of them representing wounds. The reality is my Spartan should not survive this in the new version of the game because he only has 1 health, and that's 4 successful hits. So basically, he ran up, he tried to kill the Arbiter. It was a heroic effort, and then he just got gunned down by a brute with a carbine zoomed in.
1, 2, 3 damage on a Spartan, and that they only have 4 health, so he's got 1 health left. So it's double damage.
And yeah, Spartans only have 1 health now. So this was just a previous iteration of the rules. We haven't got a chance to film a bat report with the new rule, but that you can see it wasn't killy enough. I wanted them to die. That's influence from BLKOUT. Thank you, BLKOUT, and you creators. I love stealing from you.
So instead of dealing 2 damage, you dealt 4 damage, but I got 1 successful shield save. So he's got 1 health left on him. Okay, so now this guy is going to shoot here. Now you've got a.
Do I have a plasma rifle?
You do. So that's
Yes.
a 3, and your strike is a 3, so that's a 6. So you need a 6 or lower. And you get 3 dice because I'm right out in the open. And miss. Oh.
He just rolled poorly.
It's just a game of luck.
Bad. My Spartans were activated. Okay, last is Chief. We're going to activate him. and two can play this game. So we're gonna go 1. He moves 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring the codes back, and then we're gonna dash. I need under a 6, a 4. That's kind of cocked, but even so, the four gets me there. Okay, and then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring this back to.
And I'm going to try and cheat here. I'm like, and I win, but really, I was miscounting. Forgive me. I was trying to cheat. My son catches me.
You know what?
Oops.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You're totally right. I was hoping I could get away with it.
Not really.
Not
really.
Trying to cheat over here. I thought I had victory. I could taste it. And now we ready up everything. You're not bringing your grunts in, but I get it. They're there just in case.
Too slow.
Yeah.
He has a set of grunts. He hasn't used them.
Kinda.
All right.
In the higher killy version of the game where things are dying a little bit easier, the grunts would be a fantastic backup unit or even preliminary strike unit because you can move them into space, maybe grab some weapons with them, shoot down range. If they die, it's okay, right? And we use the activation from, I think it's Trench Crusade. Yeah, it's Trench Crusade, where, and I don't think we covered this earlier, if I have less unit cards than him. So once I activate all my unit cards, he gets one more activation, and then the turn ends. So on his next turn, he can re-up everything, and he could activate his grunts if he wanted to, but he's choosing not to because he's keeping more elite units on the board, which is a good strategy in this version of the game. So, but yeah, so that carried over too. So, if your Covenant and your opponent is Marines, or if you have a third player playing Flood who doesn't have as many unit cards, the moment one player activates all of their units, everyone else gets one more activation, and then it doesn't matter if someone didn't get to activate a unit card. We don't care. The round ends. But to trade off, there's an infinite amount of rounds. It's not like Warhammer where we only play up to 5 rounds. The reason being is because if you kill all my units and I only have Chief, then Chief is going to go, then you're going to go, and then Chief is going to go, and then you're going to go. So as your units die, they'll get a little bit more heroic because their action economy increases. So I think that's an interesting design mechanic I want to see played out a little bit more. Let's wrap this up. 1 minute to go.
And then we got to see who goes first. Okay.
Hopefully,
Now, whoever wins the roll probably wins. So let's see what happens here. So
I hope it's not the Flood who goes first.
let's see.
Flood!
Oh my gosh. I won priority every time. That's why. Chief is going to activate, of course, first. I'm going to push this here. And then Cortana's going to say, bet you can't stick it. And I do. And then I'm going to go, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't need to evacuate the middle. I already won. But, just to say that the hero lives to fight another day. Bomb activates.
Guess what?
Oh, there's... You lost.
I know something you don't.
What's that?
I secretly had all the UNSC databases on.
Well, and we played with cheesy rules just because you got to go to bed for school tomorrow. But if we had played with nicer rules, it would have taken an action to activate the bomb and move, and activate the flag and move. So that would have slowed us down a little bit. Chief couldn't just run up, grab it, and run back. But
plus, the flag usually -1 to your move.
Yeah. And because it's, it's bedtime for school. It's almost there. So you can watch, one YouTube video before bed. All right. That's the game.
We didn't get into the Flood. Now.
Oh man, yeah, the Flood would have been so much fun, but we didn't really play with the Halo cards. We'll have to try that next time.
I tried my best.
Yeah, you got a bubble shield.
Who knows? Master Chief comes out and a bunch of Flood comes out.
You know what? After I finished watching this video, I was watching it back. I was like, okay, I always need to check because I'm an audio idiot sometimes. And I realized I didn't unmute my mic during this part. So I'm talking and there's no words coming out. So just a quick little redub, splicing in here. What I was explaining was that was pretty much the game. My son had just won, or I had just won, and that my son had to go to bed. But I was explaining that's the game. Go check out the rules at HaloBLKCrusade. It's a fun, just little, game. I even have a little joke on there. I created the website last night, so if you find any sort of typos or anything in there, please forgive me. I literally made this whole website in about an hour. After I sent my son to bed, I just quickly spun it up in about, I'd say maybe 2 hours. I got to bed late last night. And yeah, that's where we'll pretty much leave this video. I want to link some great creators who have amazing STLs for you guys to download so you can support them, check them out, and then, you know, download your own version of the game or find it at a local Goodwill near you. I also want to explain that I had some haters in a previous video because on Dwethia, I used to have a little bit of AI art on there. I've since removed all the AI art. I generated it way before I knew about all the ethical concerns, I think like a few years ago. And so, you know, I didn't know. I was like, oh, you click a button, you get a picture. And then I began to see artists be like, it's theft. And I was like, oh, okay, I see how that works now. So I'm kind of an artist myself. So I have designed my own art. I'm working on it. And I'm actually now moving into a phase where I'm linking a lot of great creators out there. And so you can go find and download their art. But to the haters, I said, you're 100% correct. Please forgive me. And what creative thing are you throwing out in the world? I would love to hype it. I'd like to say that out to you guys as well. If you're out there in the world and you've got something creative, let me know. I'd love to hype it on the channel. I love showing off people's creativity. And also, again, remember, I'm redubbing audio that was missing. So, you know, here's this idiot just talking and you can't hear him. Look how stupid he is. Anyways, I was just explaining there at the end. Go to dwethia.com, scroll all the way down, and you can click on check out HaloBLKCrusade. And it'll take you right to this website. That way I don't have to host 1 million domains with GoDaddy. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.